新世界に終焉が近づいている。バイオミュータントにようこそ。DNA を変換する。遺伝子構造を決めてくれ。DNA 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 を変換する。遺伝子構造を決めてくれ。遺伝子の回復力を選んでくれ。毛皮のスタイルを選んでくれ。メインの色を選んでくれ。他の色を決めてくれ。クラスを選んでくれ。コマンド、サイフリーク、サボタージュ、センチネル、マーセナリー、デッドアイ、デッドアイ、コマンド、サイフリーク。 サイフリーク選択。それでうまくいく。過酷な過去を持った者が一人スポットライトのもとに引きずり出された。我々は岐路に立たされている。生きる道を選ぶか、ただ何もせず死を選ぶかだ。だがお前にとってこれは岐路であるだけでなく決断でもある。万物に流れる原子の力。
自己紹介しよう。私は光、君の陽の側。より正確には君の内なる声だ。平行の反響にして今後君が行う行為に対する秘訣でもある。
お前はどちらかというと明るくのんきな印象だが、時期になる。
だが
お前の性質だと全ては自然淘汰だの。
自然淘汰とは
正しさを覆すことなどできない。死の物語と残された体は我々が自然の恵みとして他者を捕食していることを思い出させる。お前の家族を襲った獣を覚えているか。それとも忘却の彼方に追いやったか。お前は逃げた。この世界に背を向けて自分だけの世界に閉じこもってしまった。その間にプレデターはより強くなっていった。今は急いで逃げるべきだ。こんなところで終わるわけにはいかない。逃げて生き残れ。そして来たるべき戦いの時のために準備するんだ。脅威はプレデターだけじゃない。日々の終わりが始まった頃、野生の生物が変異し始めた。そして 生命の木が生気を失い始めた。今なら入手可能だ。しっかり掴んでいくんだ。油の汚泥が一面に広がったことで大半の生物が死に絶えたが、中には新たな環境に適応し変化した生物がいた。進化を止めることはできない。
The oil sludges everywhere. To most, it only means death, but some have adapted to the new environment and changed with it. Evolution has its ways. Well placed. Look, an emergency box from the once was. A rare sight. Now you understand better. pipe looks weak. The claw bar should come in handy. Whoa! It's time to find a way out of this place. No, really, I mean it. The Morks produce biomatter in their multi-organ that they shed under distress. Blobs that affect the cellular coding strands of any living being when absorbed, including you. Grab and pull. Toxanol built vessels called arks to save themselves from the impending doom. But was it too late? It is only from the flight logs of the single ark they left behind that we know other arks traveled through the sky and beyond. It seems those that came before us never lost hope in finding a new home for their kind. Just a few moves left. Make them count. There are few records of the chain of events that led to the big apocalypse eons ago, but it's clear the world wasn't prepared for how recklessly the Toxanol Corporation would make its mark on the world. Their rare earth mining and nuclear industries generated tons of waste, and without consideration for the future, they dumped it all in landfills until they ran out of space. That's when they made the big mistake. They began dumping the toxic waste in the surf just off the coast instead, assuming that it would sink and decay with time. And they were right. But no one was prepared for what was about to unfold. Once in the surf, the radiation interfered with the genetics of the wildlife and created bizarre mutations in their offspring. It had an inconceivable impact on biodiversity and the entire ecosystem. The world as they knew it crumbled as nature retaliated. It would never be the same again, and what remained of it became ours. The sound of spark metal going pew-pew is never a good thing. It's coming from behind that door. A warning label. The box looks like a potential brain melt. It's going to take a bit of puzzling to short-circuit the door. Just a few moves left. Make them count. There you go. The wheeled one is outnumbered. You'd better help him out. Between the eyes. That's the last of them. Let's talk to the wheeled one before backup arrives. He wants to thank you for taking his side against the scavengers. He sounds familiar. He presents himself as out of date. He knows he's way overdue, but he hasn't given up. He doesn't seem surprised that you don't recognize him. You were just a child back then, the night everything changed. There have been rumors of a one-eyed Ronin seen outside the Great Wall, and he's happy to see it's true. The legend of the one-eyed child that grew up as an outcast is old and sad. The child could have been anyone, but the evil it had fled had left a mark. It's a scar you're covering under that eye patch, isn't it? But he would have recognized you anyway. There's no doubt you're the child, and that what Lupa Lupin did to your village, your Muma and Popsy, was the beginning of the end. He says it has taken you a long time to bring the past back up to the present, to find your way back, but he's grateful you have. It was after the attack that the unity fell apart. Your Muma's disciples divided. After the old village was destroyed, had it not been for the Tree of Life, no one would have survived. He hopes you. Asks if you are tired, as it's a bit of a hike here from the village. He wonders if your Muma knows you are here. Sounds like he understands why you came all the potato people, or Nono, are a wonder, somehow interlinked with this little tree here, fueling its source of life. You might be. The Nono prefer to hide in glitter grass. You found... The Nono's key energy is just what the Pensai needs to come... The small tree you saw up there. You'll need to support the tree for a long time to come. You'll need a net. He's grateful for all the help he can get. There's lots of Nono out there that need to be... One day, he hopes the tree will... But today, your focus... Now that you've seen the Nonno's connect, from this day on, he'll make nurturing the Pensai into a tree of life, a life goal. One day, the land won't be as peaceful. Not even your Muma. You can already see the effects from how reckless those before us acted, and unless something changes, we're doomed. The land won't survive the... He says you'd better hurry back to the village before your Muma comes looking for you. You did good here today. No, she's got lots on her mind and needs rest after the raid last night. He lost you there for a while, but no memory is alone. It's part of a trail. He says he remembers every single day he devoted to growing the tree started to die when the end of days begun, and it wasn't long after that. The genetic evil... His friend Gizmo is working on a Mekton and needs help defeating the Jumbo Puff at the end of the West Route. Wiz is still repairing his Octopod to confront the Merc Puff that dwells deep down under the surface at the end of the Northwest Route. Nocco has tamed the Midget and is preparing to take on the Hoof Puff at the end of the East Route. Finally, Goop is almost done with the Goo Glide, a machine able to ride the waves of the surf all the way out to the Porky Puff at the end of the route to the southeast. Out of Date says his friends are gearing up to stop the World Eaters. The road ahead won't be easy, but he's counting on your support. His friends aren't strong enough to end this on the water. He wants you to understand that you'll all die if the tree isn't... His friends have prepared something specific for each World Eater. The Mekton, the Octopod, the Majute, and the Goo Glide are almost ready to ride. Regardless, you'll meet again once you've played your part in the tribe war and the situation with the World Eaters. You're getting the hang of it. Quickest way out is through the roof where they came in, and the rope looks strong enough to climb. Grab on tight. Know that the Tree of Life is dying. Its days are numbered. Without help, it can't endure the environmental change and assault from the World Eaters. A signpost maps it out for the cartographically challenged. Let's see. Must be the World Eater that chewed off Out-of-Date's leg. You'll need a hat trick to bring that down. The World Eaters have made their marks on our world over time. That's not the first nor the last village it'll leave in its wake. Look, a survivor. Glad to see someone made it out alive. He's heard the stories about the terror inflicted by the world. He worries there won't be much left to save if this continues. He doesn't know what your connection is to this place, but something tells him you've stayed true to your heart. Anyway, he needs help and says it's by your actions you'll be judged, not by your... He's grateful for that.
Ah! That's a spark of light in you!
What's there to like about life?
Not as much as it...
Always making...
And you're always trying to protect...
There's Out-of-Date again. He must have missed something important. Out-of-Date says you will make a better stand against the World Eaters with the... The Myriad tribe is likely to be a good match as they act on the understanding of the greater good and have a... Regardless of who you choose, it won't be easy, as the conflict between the tribes is worse than ever. The Myriad's conviction to stop the World Eaters began when the Leviathans rose from the depths of the surf. Siding with the Myriad's movement for wholeness in a fragmented world might seem like the logical thing to do, but is it the right thing? One thing's certain, though. Destiny arrives all the same. The Jagni tribe only ever had one conviction: to bring balance to the world by wiping out the weak. They believe a cleansing is necessary to restore the world and want to let the World Eaters bring down the Tree of Life. But siding with Jagni isn't necessarily a bad thing. Fate will find a way.
Balu Utulua.
Out of Date says someone needs to break the stalemate and shift the balance of power to...
Paikatawa Tamuk Gabamuktab.
He believes the tribe Sifus, Myriad especially, will listen to you and expects you to pay at least one of them a visit and play your part.
Balu Utulua.
Myriad is convinced that defeating the World Eaters is the only way.
Come Reaper.
Out of Date will be waiting for you beneath the Tree of Life if you lose track.
Chintwata Moti Huasa.
Regardless, you'll meet again once you've played your part in the tribe. Another fork in the road. It's either the tunnel or the motor bridge. What'll it be? It's unusual that natural tunnels like this still exist. Most of them got flooded. Crack-a-doo! Getting jacked. This area was beautiful before the tribe war began. Look at it now. It's a war zone. That's the Myriad Tribe's fortress. Will they be friends or foe? You should head up there. That way you'll know. Let's see. It's a beaten path to that door. If you go there, you'd better make an entrance. Says they're wary of strangers. They're at war. Thinks you should just put one paw ahead of the other and make your way up there. The tribe is always open to a new face.
Sibi? La panen agin kan man. Gerat na fal hutut mus. Tugai la wute.
The Myriad tribe act on understanding of the greater good and a code of honor. They believe uniting the tribes is the only way to restore the peace. The Sifu is convinced that defeating the World Eaters and saving the Tree of Life is the only way to make the world a better place. He welcomes you to the Myriad Fort and introduces himself as the tribe's Sifu.
What?
But he was hoping you'd show up. The news of a vigilante Ronin on crusade crossing the Great Wall through the crack in Bunker 101 has preceded you.
All the goose are gonna have SS.
The wall that separates them from the other side? The wasteland you came from? He guesses the time spent there just left a blank space in your memory, as empty and barren as the wasteland itself. He's convinced you've returned for a reason, and is glad you chose to come here. There's something about your spirit that sparks memories of you as a kidling. He can still sense your The Sifu says sometimes one memory can make another come to life. He hasn't thought about your Muma for ages, even though she taught him a lot. He was one of the original Wang Fu disciples. Your Muma invented Wang Fu. Originally, it The Sifu says it's time to set the past aside, at least for now. Unrest is sweeping the land. Myriad wants unity between the tribes. Their goal is understanding of the greater good and establishing a code of... If you believe there's some good in everyone, there's still hope for tomorrow. You'll unite the tribes and defeat the World Eaters to save the Tree of Life. He was hoping you'd join them. You understand that the Sifu was waiting for something to tip the balance in their favor, and with you by their side, he's confident you can unite the other tribes. The one you should coerce first. The Jagni tribe may believe that fear and hatred will lead them to domination, a vanquisition of the tribes and destruction. Their kin have run out of options and found themselves backed into a corner. Even those who desire peace have been forced to prepare for war. They might bring them war, but they'll never take... He wants you to focus. These are the new rival outposts your tribe needs to take control of. He says you'll regret not being on their side. The only way you'll learn their secrets, Wung Fu and the tribe weapon now, is if you defeat him. And that will never happen. You both have gentle minds, so they want to wage a gentle war. A war that tells you not to be afraid. Your fate cannot be taken from you. Once you've dealt with the rivals' outposts, you'll challenge their Sifu to unite their tribe with yours and let your kin share land again. They passed the point of no return as their words lost power, and seeing you brings back his memories of the old... Myriad wants unity between the tribes. Their goal is understanding of the... He remembers your kind and unselfish soul, and can sense you still have... Anyway, the memories you make with your family are strong, and can sometimes come to life. Passing the old village on your way, even though it's now a different place from a different... You have things to do, places to go to. It's time for you to revisit. Untended, the world understands you have... Shines happy that the myriad can... Asks you to check out the wares, confident you'll find... The doors here are all... It's shopping time. Offers you extraordinary prices. Says this is... Sometimes it's simpler to just buy what you need. The gatekeeper welcomes you back to the fort. Understands you have other places you need to go. Let's see. Better beware, that's a mump up ahead. They were hit hard by evolution, the wonky ones especially, deformed and unfurred. Shot through. Bang, bang. Time is lost on this place, but it evokes a tingling sensation. There's something special about it, drawing you closer. Let's see. As time passes, memories fade, and sometimes feelings change. It's not about who you were, it's about who you'll become. This story is far from over. Echoes of a long-lost past, like whispers in the wind. Here's someone who takes each day as it comes. He asks how you are today. Then he wants you to know that if you find yourself going through he wonders where you've been. He hopes you've been out at the lake, practicing your swimming technique. He understands Wang Fu is hard. That's why your Muma only has 6 disciples. He thinks you should really know how to swim by now. And he'll be honored. He says, that wasn't too bad, was it? At least you learned that you'll drown. But you need practice. Lots of practice. You need to rely on... You just need more time in the surf. That's the only way you'll ever learn how to swim. You can never try... Judging by your Muma's look, it seems you forgot something.
Kalino?
You promised you'd train with her before the sun goes down. It's time to go.
Amun.
She's not unhappy with your program.
Domale tuk.
You should know, practice makes perfect.
Drumblene marsamambunundu.
You have to keep working on it if you want to...
Kent sib.
She'll see you at the village square.
Pola kudo.
She'll be... Here's another familiar face with lots on his mind. Asks how you're feeling today. His only interest when creating is... He was hoping you could help him pick up some scrap for a thingamajig he's working on. You should look for things that are recyclable. He wonders what usefulness you found. He says every... He can work wonders with almost anything and asks if you know how to upcycle. But that's his point. He'd love to teach you. You did well, but he can't help but wonder why you decided to craft a weapon. He appreciates that. He understands, but hopes you won't be needing it anytime soon. He thinks he's looking forward to seeing what... It looks like she's starting to lose her patience.
Berry?
You know she doesn't like waiting for you. She wants to see you on the village square right away.
Pola kudo.
Then you've got a good excuse. You share.
Kialdo male kanaro tono.
She wants you to grow up and start thinking for yourself.
Kanamunt.
That's all.
Ritsentende.
You've always followed your own path, but this time she needs you to...
Kanarota. Urasa durut.
They look determined. Better watch out. He asks you to stop right there and wonders where you think you're going.
Ole pepsaloda.
That makes him wonder why.
Ansirignore Kitty.
There's no-
Faga. Saluto.
He wants to know who you think you are.
Allo,
They push each other. She asks if you're hurt. What happened? If confident, the most important. It's time to focus on your training now. You. Here's someone close to heart, doing what he does best. Seeing you always puts a smile on your Popsy's face. He wants to know how you've... He knows growing. He asks if you could help him, too, before you leave for training. He'll talk to her, sure, but you know she wants... He's... He's curious to see what you found. He's all for renewal. He can work wonders with pretty much anything, and asks if you know. Says at least dirty. He says it's about time you learned how, and... The style might be too edgy for his taste, but it looks sharp on you. He knows she's already practiced. You should take it with you. Wear it to practice. He's... Your Muma says it's about time you got here. Hopes you're as ready as you claim to be. She says she is eager to get... But there's enough time left for repetition. Wants you to prove that with some practice.
Anora ka papon.
Your Muma says you did well today. She's so proud of you.
Mina lagi mamuru.
That's all.
Andro?
Been working on a...
Mina lagi mamuru.
You should go see him and find out what it is.
Brumble na marsa mamuru.
Catchy.
Kanoruta.
Your Muma says she's never seen an apparatus as green as this little thing. It's
Urasa dut.
figuring that
Anora ka papon.
a piece of scraptronics like this,
Vaisano kasaman warut.
it's called an automaton, and it's hardwired to your DNA. It'll follow.
Monindas aplitonomuta.
Your Muma says you look tired. No wonder. It's been...
Ritsentende.
Says a good rest, and you'll find strength for tomorrow. Nothing could stop Lupa Lupin from setting the world on fire. Your Muma urges you to blaze a trail. A burnt kidling will learn to dread fire. That's just adding fuel to the flames. Give it a last burst and you'll make it. Your Muma says this is it. The time has come. She must fight Lupa Lupin. There's nowhere to run. Whatever happens, you need to know she loves you. She tells you to stay back. This is her fight. It has nothing to do with you. History. She loves how brave you are, but she can't be worrying. Here it comes. The past coming to haunt the present. You must go through fire and water to make it out of here. Your Muma says you can make it if you believe in it. Where she goes, you go. Blood is thicker than water. You're in deep surf. Don't make waves. The surf goes where it wants to go. It'll take you to the shore as long as you go with the flow. Death is not to be feared by one who has lived life with a pure heart. A part of her will live on in you. The creature is hungry for more. Nothing is going to stand in its way now. If a sacrifice is made for someone else, it's not lost, but passed on to the next. Life must go on. Real sacrifice comes from love and necessity when all other options are exhausted. The ultimate test of conscience is the willingness to give up anything to save what you truly care about. What you do for yourself dies with you. What you do for your kin remains and makes you immortal in their memory. As the moment fades and is lost, the only thing that remains is loneliness. It doesn't mean you'll forget your past. It simply means you need to move on. Let's see. Looks like it'll work. Might turn a blade or two. The tribe's caught a fluffy hulk. Better watch out, it's no pet. You gave them no choice but to take it down, even though they'd planned to take the fluff hulk out to the far Fnacky leaves and let it go. They've received news a Ronin had strengthened their ranks and were looking forward to meeting you. A group of myriad crusaders already headed out to Jagni's Mercadorpus outpost and are waiting for you there. You should hurry there and help them best the outpost. You complete them. From this point on, the myriad is unbroken. Sad that you try to nest with others. Heard that the Jagni tribe's constantly looking for new recruits to fill their ranks. You get it. Toxanol was something called a corporate juggernaut, and our world still bears the marks of the massive ecological catastrophes they inflicted upon the land. The apocalypse they caused was the end of days for their world. But for us, it was simply a beginning. Look, an emergency box from the old days, when you need... Wow, bet that nut makes a tight fist. It's a wild sensation to be away from the open air. Tunnels like this still carry echoes from the past. Can you hear it? Wrecking fest. Go see what you can see in this fresh day. That notice board? Filled with the leftovers of used-to-be once. You're getting close to one of those old Toxanol brick towns. Pay attention. The Toxanol Corporation made this place, and then just threw it away when they were done with it. Well, small ones. Places like this were cheap back in. There must be a track somewhere. The sound of leaves can be calming. Never thought. You need to get the pegs lined up to get the clothes soaker rolling. Just a few moves left. Make them count. That's spiraled out of control. The end is... You need to turn the pegs in sync. You need to turn the pegs in sync. That's spiraled out of control. You need to turn the pegs in sync. That's spiraled out of control. You need to turn the pegs in sync. That's spiraled out of control. You need to turn the pegs in sync. That's spiraled out of control. You need to turn the pegs in sync. That's spiraled out of control. You need to turn the pegs in sync. You really put a spin on it. That's right, the first rule of gunfighting. Bring a gun. So much easier to see all the colors during the day. It's becoming terminal. You found the whereabouts, the deepest, darkest forest in the land, sometimes hard to see for all the trees. Much better, middle-lifed. This story is as powerful as you'll let it be. A flush stool from the back in time. Seems like the tighteners on the piping need to be unturned correctly to drain the flush stool. Just a few moves left. Make them count. That's the kind of trouble you really want to wash away. You need to be more streetwise first. Amazing to see so much happening today. Looks like the Fry Sparker's knobs need to be in sync if you want to get the hardware working. Just a few moves left. Make them count. It's a Fry Sparker mindset. Boom! You got something. It's not exactly what you wanted, but you got it right away. Snazzy Hatter. This could be the beginning of the end of everything. Might keep you dry at least. Pump you up. found the track! Amazing! So much of this place was just discard. No, it was never nice. The tracks moved on from... Heroes inspire in a way nothing else can. Could be this key. Keep your powder dry. Thinks Lobo really is stunning. Who else would build flying things? Thank her when... fine time to be outside. Hot metal. Concussion. Baked. You're bruised. The board mainly has posts from those that used to work at the chug yard back in the days gone. They don't make much sense these days. Not much more to say about the board, but Gizmo is holed up in the underyard here working on that Mekton of his. The rails used to be filled with chugs packed tight. You're on the right track. Tribes always scavenging for scrap, and the yard has plenty to go around. But they should have stuck to looting instead of playing around with sprockets. Bomper bonkers busy ram-banging the door. This is your chance. Stop pounding that one. Punched up. You've had better days. That's more like it. Let's see. You're here for a reason. It's up to you to figure out what that is. Yes, you can do anything. The sky's the limit. Now, let's take this back to Earth. Wow, you really took that all the way down to the end, in flames. It's a wonder some of these up and downs still work. Guess they built machines better in the past. The spent nuclear fuel, the toxinol dumped in the surf, had detrimental effects on the marine habitats, while the overflowing landfills contaminated the groundwater. Combined, this sent their world hurtling on an inevitable road to ruin. I need to brush up on my Wando, but I have a feeling he believes it was you. Oh, and he says he knows you. You used to call... Gizmo remembers you as a nice kidling, and he can still... But Gizmo says how you experience a memory can be different. You know the story, but sometimes the truth it... He hopes you remember... Gizmo said he understands history made Lupa. You still... He says you should know that what's meant to be will always find a way.
Yes, that's the way. No arguing with that.
That is how...
Seriously.
I'm so proud.
Can't believe.
Would like to know if you ever doubt the choices you made on the path that brought you to this point. Figures you're either a rare person... Hard to believe the world is actually going to survive. Grateful to you for coming back and doing your best to change things. You were the only chance they had. Thinks that's more... But... Gizmo says it's... He can't leave... You should return when you've retrieved the scrap. There's no time to waste if you want to make the Mekton strong enough to fight... That's what he decided to call it after he saw it for the... There's short of breath and death to this zone. Better take care. He who half breathes, half lives. The hours fly by in the dark. This would make